What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Chuds BBQ. My name is Bradley Robinson, and today I'm going to show you how I made these beautiful, delicious, smoky, red, plump, cold smoked sausage links. Coming up. A few months back, I made a new style of sausage on this channel called Pfefferbeißer. It's an air-dried, cured, cold-smoked sausage that's essentially a German-style snack stick. And it was a totally new process for me, and I gotta say, the results were incredible. So ever since that video, I've been playing around with this air-dried, cold-smoked sausage. So today I'm gonna show you my latest and greatest technique for making an absolutely fantastic smoky sausage, and it is going to be delicious. This is some meat. What I've got here is 2 pounds of beef, 1 pound of pork, and 1 pound of beef fat. So it's a predominantly beef sausage with a little bit of pork and a nice amount of fat to give us that extra juicy sausage. So into the freezer this goes for a little bit to firm up to make sure we get a really nice clean grind. Spices for our sausage, which for some reason I made the night before, include some kosher salt, pink curing salt, some black pepper, granulated garlic, cayenne pepper, granulated mustard, some paprika, and our binder, which is some high temp milk powder. Beautiful. As you can see, I've upgraded my sausage making gear. Big shout out to the folks at Meat for hooking me up with this awesome grinder, stuffer, and mixer. I've done a few batches of sausage so far, and I am impressed. This is a 1.5 horsepower grinder, as opposed to the one I usually use, which is a half horsepower, meaning this one's a lot more efficient and really speeds up the whole process. Also, great for doing big batches. Very excited about it. But if you want to see me do a full review on this grinder, stuffer, and caser versus all the other tools I've used for making sausage in the past, let me know. I'll make a dedicated video. Just drop a comment down below if you want to see me make that video. Now that our meat is sufficiently chilled, let's go ahead and send it through the old meat grinder. This thing makes easy work of this pretty much frozen meat. Love it! As you can see, we got a really nice pebbly texture here. That's why you want to use cold meat. Nice clean grind. Ooh, yeah. This is my new favorite thing in the world. This is a sausage mixer, and it hooks up right to the meat grinder, which is just awesome. Because if you've seen my other sausage making videos, a really important part about making sausage is getting this all well mixed together to try and emulsify the fat in the meat a little bit and get that really nice tacky texture. But because this meat is ice cold, it is really hard on the hands. So to have this automated machine do it for me is just awesome. I should have invested in one of these a long time ago, but in we go. When I built this table to Brad height, I didn't expect to have a super tall sausage mixer, so this is a little awkward, but still works. On we go. Oh, gotta love that. And now in we go with all of our spices. We're gonna let that mix for about a minute or so just to get everything evenly incorporated. And then in we go with our liquid component, which is just some water. We'll let that mix for about 5 minutes and we should be good to go. So much easier. And just like that, we have got some beautifully mixed up sausage. And I gotta say, the bind you get from a machine like this is a lot tighter than anything I've ever been able to make just with my hands. Probably because it gave up too soon because it's so cold. But let's case it up. Beautiful. It's about a 15-pound stuffer, I think, so this 5-pound batch may be a little overkill. We're going on with some standard-sized hog casings today. Tie it off, snip the tip, and we'll begin. And you can make these whatever size you like, but we just want to make sure they are cased nice and plump, about as taut as you can get them without bursting the casing. That way you get a really nice texture and a really nice snappy bite. One of these days I'll nail this thing down to the table. Again, I like to go link by link just to make sure that every sausage is perfectly filled up without having any air pockets in there. A lot of times people will make one big rope and then go around and link them up, but that's a great way to get air pockets in there. And if you bust it halfway through, it's kind of annoying. If you do that, I'd recommend pricking your sausages. But with this method, it seems to work out just fine without pricking them. Prick. Looking nice and plump. That's what we're after, folks. I was a little nervous at first having the crank on this side. I thought it would be a little awkward. Maybe have to get a helping hand to do this, but it seems to be working out just fine. I do have some thoughts on this stuffer, so maybe I'll talk about that when I do the full review. But other than that, nothing to it, folks. Just trying to make some nice plump little weens. And of course, I go into a lot more detail in other sausage making videos if you're new to the channel. And of course, I busted the last one. Great. That's fine. We'll save that as our little tester. So I'll let these chill on the tabletop here for the last 15-20 minutes or so. Well, I knocked out all those sausage dishes, but the main reason I did that was just to help kind of dry out these casings, make sure everything is nice and plump, but most importantly, to help dry out these little bits between the sausages. So when I go through and snip them, I know that this end is gonna stay closed. So now I'm gonna hang these up on a piece of string in my kitchen at room temp overnight, just like I did in the Pfefferbeißer video. And what that's gonna do is allow these to dry out even more, let that cure do its thing, and should give us a lovely sausage. So you can check out the other video if you wanna see how I hang these up. But for now, they'll hang overnight and I'll see you tomorrow. This video is brought to you by HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. With thousands of recipes and dozens of meal plans to choose from, HelloFresh makes weeknight cooking a breeze. They'll send a box right to your door with all the ingredients you need for a weeknight meal with super easy to follow instructions with pictures. This week, I went with a vegetarian box because, as you know, I cook a lot of meat on this channel, but whenever it comes to cooking vegetables, nothing bores me more, and I can never figure out what to cook. So with this box, they send me everything I need for a couple of weeknight meals, which not only saves me a trip to the grocery store, but also they only send me what I need for the specific meal, which drastically cuts down on food waste. Because instead of buying a whole tub of sour cream when I only need a little drizzle, they just send me what I need. Very convenient. And with new health goals in mind, I think these vegetarian boxes are gonna come in real handy. But they have plenty of meal plans to choose from, whether it's pescatarian, meat and veg, quick and easy, and many more. I must say, I love how convenient it is. Having someone else do all the shopping, prep everything out in exact proportions, and deliver it right to my door, saving me so much time and effort, especially for midday lunches like this, where I'm usually pretty busy and I don't really want to sit down and try and plan something out. It just takes a lot of pressure off figuring out what to cook, do I have the ingredients, all that stuff. And these meals come together super quickly. Not to mention, everything I've had from them has been absolutely delicious. And it's also a really sustainable way to eat because they only send you what you need, like this cute little jug of red wine vinegar. So I'm gonna buy less, waste less, and also all their packaging is made out of recycled materials. This is also great for the beginner, someone who's new to the kitchen. This is a great way to learn and practice basic cooking skills. Starting to smell real good. Looks pretty good to me. Boop, boop, boop. Nothing wrong with that. So if you're looking for a little help in the kitchen, want to spend less time at the grocery store, or just want to make mealtime a little bit easier a few nights a week, go to HelloFresh.com, where you can use code ChudsBBQ16 to get up to 16 free meals plus 3 surprise gifts. Again, link in the description. That's HelloFresh.com, code ChudsBBQ16 for up to 16 free meals and 3 surprise gifts. Thank you, HelloFresh. One overnight hang later, and these sausages are looking real nice. Feeling nice and dried out. Got a certain tact to them. You can tell that cure really did its work, and the color is much different. Gotta say, these feel really cool. I bet they'd be pretty good to just throw on the grill right now. But now we're gonna hang them up in the mini chud box and get some smoke on them. So onto this rod they go, and I'm gonna hang them in the old mini chud box. And to get some smoke on these, we're gonna bust out the old cold smoker. I picked this up on Amazon. I'll have a link in the description for this. And basically, you fill this up with sawdust, you light it right here, and it burns like a maze all the way through, giving you a really light smoke that burns super slowly, kind of like the snake method, for hours and hours without producing any heat. So it's perfect for cold smoking. This particular one uses sawdust. I have seen this on Amazon. I got this from the sausagemaker.com. They've got a lot of things for sausage making, believe it or not. And this is what, hickory, I believe, which is perfect for me because hickory's got a little bit more flavor and a little bit heavier of a smoke than oak or something like that. And especially because this thing doesn't put out all that much smoke, having something a little bit heavier is nice. Well, that's simply enough. Just got to fill this thing on up. And there's all sorts of different cold smoking devices out there. They make one of these that's a bit smaller, gives you about 5 hours of smoke. That's shaped a little bit more like a square maze as opposed to this spiral style. I also bought a smoke tube recently that I've been meaning to play with, and there we have it. So now I'm going to pop it in the mini chud box, light it on this side with a little blowtorch, and we should be off to the races. And here we go. We got these hanging up nicely, not touching the bottom. And this thing is smoking away. So now we're gonna shut this lid and let this cold smoker do its job for the next, I don't know, 12 to 24 hours. We'll see how long it goes. Typically on this channel when I smoke sausage, I do it on the offset where I cold smoke the sausage no hotter than 150 degrees. But that's really pushing the limits of what's really defined as cold smoking. A lot of charcuterie books will tell you that cold smoking is sub 90 degrees Fahrenheit, hot smoking is 150 and above. But maintaining a super cold smoke on an offset is pretty difficult, which is why I got this little sawdust contraption, because it's just set it and forget it, and it produces minimal heat. But the main benefit of cold smoking your sausage first is that it's going to give it a lot more color and a lot more smoke flavor to the sausage. If you were going to take a sausage link and pop it on a 250, 300 degree smoker, it'll cook in about 30, 40 minutes, and that's really not enough time to let all that smoke penetrate and adhere to the sausage. Another reason I like this method is because by hanging it up, whether it's at room temperature or uncovered in the fridge, it's going to form a bit of a pellicle around the exterior of the sausage, which is going to be a little bit drier and tackier of a surface, which is a perfect condition for smoke to adhere. Not to mention, a super long cold smoke like this is just going to help that casing dry out and shrink up to the meat even more, giving us that nice snappy bite. So when we do the final cook on it, it'll be nice and snappy, nice and juicy, nice and smoky. "24 hours on the dot later, and this thing just whisked its last breath of smoke. And these guys are looking real nice. Ooh. And as you can see, they've got a lovely color to them. That smoke definitely did its job, making them nice and red. And because they went for so long, they're even drier than they were before, feeling real nice, but not hard. You know, they still got a good give to them. Mmm, smells like a good sausage. I'm gonna plunge these into an ice water bath real quick. And because these are cold smoke, it's not really to stop the cooking process or anything like that. It's just to kind of clean them off in case there's any ash on there. And it also helps bloom the sausages a little bit. So I'm gonna let them sit in this ice bath for about 10 minutes. Then I'm gonna pop them back on this thing and let them hang for another 10, 20 minutes or so, just to kind of bloom that sausage, get that color real nice, let all the excess water drip off, and then they'll be ready to go. And just like that, these links are ready to go. It's at this stage you could pop these into a vac sealed bag, pop them in your freezer, and because they're smoked and dried, vac sealed and frozen, these things will pretty much last forever. And I must say, I love the way these look. So to finish cooking these off, I'm gonna throw them on this here pit behind me. We're rocking a solid 250, 275, and we're just gonna cook these through. After about 30 minutes, these are coming off the pit and they are looking lovely, very plump, nice and dense, in a good way. I let these cool down for about 5 minutes so they're ready to eat, so we're gonna go ahead and slice on in. Looking nice and juicy. I think it's time to find out how these taste. Would you like to try my sausage?
My mouth was actually watering watching you cut it.
Really?
Really?
Ladies and gentlemen, Sawyer Lewis of Leroy and Lewis and Bones.
Hi.
Nice shirt, bud. Where'd you get that?
Yeah, I almost wore mine today, but I classed it up a bit.
He's the shirt model from the website.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty classic, old school, just beef sausage link, a little bit of pork, and I cold smoked it for 24 hours to get nice and snappy casings on there.
Damn. The cold smoke makes it super, almost like, not crunchy, but...
Well, I dried them out too, so the exterior is extra snappy, extra plump.
Really good.
That is delicious.
It is
Delicious.
very kielbasa-like.
Really juicy. But it seems to be holding in the juice really well. There's a lot of fat, but it doesn't feel like it's like going all over the table. Almost has like the texture of a summer sausage.
Right. Yeah, these work great on the grill too. It's got that tighter casing on it than your traditional sausage, but yeah, it definitely has more of like a charcuterie vibe to it than your typical Texas barbecue link. Should we try a little snap test?
Yeah. Made a good amount of noise.
Look at that link.
It's pretty homogenous.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I got that new sausage mixer, which really, which really kind of emulsifies it quite a bit.
It honestly kind of looks like more like a professional sausage than like a backyard sausage because of that.
I think it's the extra processing.
Should I do it in the middle?
You might ruin your blouse.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that definitely would have ruined your blouse.
It shoot that way?
Yeah, that's a juicy one. I kind of like it better in snap form. The casing, I feel like it eats better. All right, you want to do the official taste test?
Yeah. Are you a good girl? Wait, yeah. She approves.
She does. She always does.
I'm surprised she's not so fat.
I know.
She's like actually in great shape.
This is definitely one of my favorite sausages I've made. And I think Sawyer is right. It definitely does have more of a commercially made sausage vibe to it because it's got that true cold smoke. It's got the binder in there, which is gonna hold in all the liquid. And as well as the extra processing from the mixer, it's got a really tight bind on it. Very tasty stuff. All right, y'all, and that is it. That is how to make some absolutely fantastic cold smoked sausage. If you're in the sausage making game, I highly recommend giving this technique a try. It's always fun to try out new methods, and this is one that I highly recommend. It's salty, savory, a little bit of heat on the end, and that casing is more crispy than snappy. Very cool. But that being said, if you enjoyed this video, let me know by hitting that subscribe button. Let YouTube know by dropping a like. Leave a comment down below letting me know what you want to see me cook next. If you give this recipe a try for yourself, be sure to tag me on Instagram at Chuds BBQ. I love to see what y'all are cooking. Big shout out to all the Patreon members. Thank you for supporting Team Chud and allowing me to keep making videos. And until the next time I see you, please go cook something outside. Peace! Oh, and in case you were wondering, there's a snake in my boot.